So my talk is called How to Design Any Embroidery Design in 5 minutes. So what I did here is a project that saves a list of directions and distances to specific coordinates, and I can click through any image that I uploaded into Snap. So here, for example, I have that cute dinosaur, and I can start the project now. And then I can click points here, and as you can see, I'm adding a direction and a distance to the previous point to a list. And also I added the feature that you can see whether I have the pen up or down. So if I have to go a distance where I don't want to have a thread later on, I can just move the pen up and I can do things. So that's the Snap part. I create a list of points or of directions and distances to the next coordinate. And then I transfer that to Turtle Stitch. So here's my Turtle Stitch window. Let me clear everything. And I also prepared something already this morning. So what we want to do now is we want to import a list. So here I have one, which I call test, and this is the very list that we created. So here's our directions, here's our distances, and here's whether the pen is up or down. And now we want to reread that and draw it in Turtle Stitch. So let me make that full screen here so we can see it better. So what we want to do is we want to, for each item in our list, we want to point into the direction of that item, and then we want to move the number of steps that we have. So let's try that. Move the number of steps, which is the second item of each item. Move the second item of each item, and we want to first point into the direction, which is the first item of each item. Point in direction item 1 of item, and then of course we want to do that from our list, and the list is, I think, the test. So let's try that. I click space, we reset, and then we can draw something. I can zoom to fit, and here I did Alonso this afternoon, or it was actually this morning. But you can see that we still have those threads going over to his eyes and stuff. So those were the ones where we actually wanted to put the pen up. So what we can do for that is we can check whether the third item of our list is true or false, and based on that we can move the pen up or down, and we can also change the embroidery design. So maybe we want to do that first. Let me set, oh no, we don't want to do that first. Let me include the if first. So if the third item is true, so the pen is supposed to be down, we want to select an embroidery pattern. Let's do cross stitch 5 by 5, and as I mentioned, we want to do that whenever item 3 of our item is true. And if that's not the case, we want to put the pen up and we want to set it, the embroidery pattern, back to running stitch, so we don't, so we can cut out the thread later on easily. So let's do the pen up, and let's set it to the running stitch. And we can do that in between here before we move. Let's check that. Okay, now we forgot to put the pen down again. Sorry. Here we want to put the pen down. Let's try it again. Okay, so that's a way to easily design any embroidery design in 5 minutes. And I made a little video that I actually did it in 5 minutes. So let me play that. This is me, as I mentioned this morning, where I did all that. Here I'm clicking the points in Snap. I'm saving them to my list. This is probably the longest part, and if you have something a little more complicated, it might even take a little longer than 5 minutes, but most of the things are easily doable in 5 minutes. And here I import it into Turtle Stitch. I use the block that I created, and then I export it to Turtle Stitch. I even had time. And Okay, so here's one dinosaur. And here's the Alonso you saw in the video. I didn't cut out the thread yet. And here's another dinosaur that I did. And you can use that for designing anything that's not super complicated.